You're listening to Off the Vine with Kaitlyn Bristowe.
Hey, Vinos, real quick, if you are listening right now, which obviously you are or you wouldn't be hearing this, can you hit the subscribe or follow button on whatever platform you're on? Please. That one simple thing helps more than you even realize. It allows me to keep growing on this podcast and making these episodes the best they can possibly be, obviously for you. That's the only favor I'm going to ever ask, okay? It truly means the world to me. Thank you. Now let's get into it. Everybody, welcome to Off the Vine. I'm your host, Kaitlyn Bristowe. Today we have JJ Lane on the podcast, who was, I guess, my season's villain, which watching back doesn't really seem like that bad of a villain. But he gets to finally, 10 years later, share his side of the story. Please enjoy my episode with JJ. We really dive into a lot, and it was really nice to hear his side of the story. Does it feel like yesterday and a lifetime ago for you, or just a lifetime ago for you?
Yeah, it's probably, it is a lifetime ago, I think, because... I'm 42 and it was 10 years ago. You think about it, it's like quarter of my life. 32
JJ
right?
is probably a lot different than 42 JJ.
Oh, man. Aren't we all? Right? Like
I'd hope so.
30s.
For me personally.
Yeah, I think I was one of the older ones on the season too, but like a lot has happened in 10 years, right? And you look, this is the first Bachelor related thing I'm doing. I was on the fence about it, but I was like, no. I told my wife, she's like, well, why are you doing it? It's like, you have nothing to gain from this. It's like, I'm doing it because it's like, this is fun. And it's like, I probably have one last opportunity, right? You have a 0.01% of people even get to do the show.
Right. I always think about how many videos, like audition videos they get to go on the show. Like, and how, I always wonder how they pick, because I think that when I got picked to go on The Bachelor, I think they thought I was going to be the crazy, like, maybe drunk night one, get sent home crazy, like maybe villain type person, because I was so wild in my interviews. And then I think they were like, oh, I think she's like more tame than we thought. But they like somehow brought out my wild side, but then kept me I don't think they knew what they were doing with me. You did get villainized, and watching it back now, I kind of laughed because I'm like, you're not even a villain, really. Like, you really weren't a villain compared to most villains. You got to make a little brand out of it.
Villain's got a bill. If a brand is like a nonprofit that, you make no money from, sure, I had a great brand, but
you made a little something out of it. We were saying before we started this podcast, like, you go home and to try and get a job, people are Googling your name, and an interview could be going so well, and then they Google you, and what comes up?
Yeah. Well, funny. Honestly, I lived the show as you did, right? So like, I got done with the show. I went home and my friends were like, how'd it go? I was like, pretty awesome. I was like, this was great. Like, I had a great time.
Yeah.
Like, I went back so naive to what was coming.
Right.
And then I watched, the first episode. It was really funny because like remember when Ryan McDill was like calling people rapists or something like this? And I just confronted him. I was like, dude, you got to stop this stuff, right? It was the exact same person there the whole way through, right? I kind of was like, in my real life, I wasn't going to put up with nonsense and like this kind of bad behavior. And like that first night, they kind of were like, we're going to give him, we'll show him in a positive light. When the villain thing came out, like, one, I was shocked. Two, I remember I was laughing my ass off when they showed me like, Clint said something about like, I'm like a shark who smells blood. And like they showed Tony just losing his mind and melting down. And I'm just like trolling him. But like all that was going through my head was like, I was so bored.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I was just like, man, like I am trying to entertain myself. I'm like sitting around this house with no phone, no TV, nothing for 3 days. We've got some weirdos in this house and we're stuck with them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to chirp them. I'm going to tease them. I'm going to just do stuff because it's entertaining myself.
Yeah.
Never did I think, oh, he's a villain.
Well, and that's what I mean when I think back onto how I was on Chris Soule's season, because my way of making friends, my way of flirting, my way of everything is to poke fun, make like chirp jokes, do all this, and it can just go one of two ways. And everyone in the house, like I would just go up and tell them, like Ashley, I remember telling her, I'm like, I just came out of an interview and I said I wouldn't be mad if you got your period in a Shark Tank. And she would be like, yeah, you did not. And I'd be like, yeah. And we'd like laugh about it, but they could have shown that and me been like the complete asshole.
Yep.
And then like, but we all just got along so well. Do you feel like, because I was like, okay, 13 out of 15 guys are saying they don't like these two. Did you get along with everybody in the house, or was it really that much tension?
There was literally like no tension, except they all decided to have this intervention.
Oh, without you?
I was in bed and they called me down like, hey, we got to talk, man. Like, to this day, I still don't quite understand the dynamics of like what led. I will say it probably had to do with some insecurities. It's a competition.
Yeah.
And there's just those weird dynamics that go into play. But every one of the guys that called me down for the intervention, at some stage, we all were friends.
Yeah.
I mean, when I left in Ireland, like every single one of us was all on great terms. Like there was no drama.
Yeah.
So I didn't chalk too much up there. I mean, I think, I did tell them, I was like, guys, it's not church camp. I'm not here to be your friend.
Right.
Oddly enough, we became friends.
Yeah. I mean, you go through the weird experience together, but I found it so interesting because then so many people I talked to, I mean, remember, was it Jade and Tanner's wedding that we were all at? And I was like, we all get along. And everybody was having the best time. I mean, I actually wasn't having a good time because it was still like the Sean Nick drama, like continuing into this wedding where I was like, first of all, I was doing sober January or something, so I wasn't drinking.
At the wedding, you didn't drink? Oh, that's wild.
I know. And I feel like I was just like sitting in a corner because I think Sean and I were like in a fight or something. And then Nick was there. And then I don't know, it was like still too fresh for us, I think. I had a good time. I shouldn't say I didn't have a good time. I had a blast. But I just remember one part of the night being like, this is so funny because really at the end of the day, everybody's getting along. What's crazy is watching back, I'm like, it's been 10 years. It's going to be so fun. I had a doctor's appointment right before this, and like driving there, I was like shaking, and I felt like it's like trapped trauma in my body. And rewatching, I'm like, it is emotional.
I would love to do it again at 42. Like I'd love to right now. It would be so different. Different. And you say like hindsight's 20/20, but there's something too to be said with like just where you're at in life and what you're wanting in life and just the pulls and the emotions. And I think when they're selecting people, right? Like, I mean, they got me right off of a divorce, right?
Yeah.
I had, gotten laid off from my job because of the divorce drama. My company was like, you're too big of a distraction. So like, I mean, I went on that show, like, lowest of lows, right?
Yeah.
And they know that.
Yeah.
They know all these things. And so, they're not getting people, like I said, at the comedy club, I was like, look, you guys think we're the 30 most eligible bachelors? We're 30 guys that have nowhere to be at Tuesday at 2 p.m. Like, trust me, your eligible bachelors are in the office at their law firms. Like, ladies, stop idolizing us. Like, we're not the ones.
That's funny. Except I literally still to this day, and I say it to every guy, I'm like, I still think I had the best group of guys. I watch every season. Yeah, I skipped a couple, but like, I'm like, my guys were so fun. Like, and I do think I wonder if because I had a type, I'm like, did they really know that they were like, yeah, let's sprinkle a few in for Brit and then really make like these funny, because I just feel like everyone was kind of funny. Like everyone had a good sense of humor. Everyone kind of was like my type. So I wonder if they were like, how they did cast, obviously for dramatic effect and for my type.
I think that your season or us is probably the last genuine group.
Yeah.
Because they told us, one, there was no such thing as Instagram ads and everything.
Right.
So when we started, that had never been done.
Yeah.
Your girls were the first ones that got into the wave of like leveraging Instagram for money.
Yeah.
So we all went on with completely unrelated expectations. We weren't thinking, oh, we're going to be famous.
Right. You weren't like, I'm here for the Instagram followers. We're going to get clout out of this. So I know they got you at like your rock bottom and coming out of all these things. And no answer will offend me here. But what were you coming into the Bachelorette for? Were you like, this is for the experience? Or were you like, I actually do want to find love? Was it a mixture of both? Like, what was your intention coming in?
It started with, so I didn't even apply. So there was a girl I knew in Denver who worked for some sort of a casting related company. I don't even know. And she's like, hey, I just got hired. Like they're trying to find local talent. Yeah. Are you interested in doing this show? My ex-wife always watched it. Yeah. And I would usually go to the gym, and when I'd come home, like I'd catch like the tail end, right?
Yeah.
So I was familiar with it. And my perception was they get to travel all over the world. It's this cool experience. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, sure.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
That was like, the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got a little deeper into it. Selfish is like, oh man, this is my ex-wife's favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, if I got on this, it's going to.
I did the same thing with my ex. I was like, we used to watch this together.
Yeah. And so it kind of morphed into that a little bit. And then by the time I was selected, it was, oh my gosh, like, how did this happen? Right. It was just like this kind of more euphoria of like, I just won the lottery. I'm going to get to travel.
Yeah.
That was 100% the motivation. Like there was never a thought process, and no offense to you, but like,
no, I like honesty.
I wasn't not thinking I'm going to go get married.
Yeah. Yeah.
Frankly, like I didn't want to get married.
Right.
Like I had gone through, I went in for pretty basic intentions.
Yeah. You know what? I really think that 98% of people do and I hate when people aren't honest about it, because I was like, people were like, did you go on and find love? And I'm like, no, I was there for the experience. Like if I found love, what a bonus. But like, I was there for the same reason. You get to travel. What an experience.
Yeah.
You don't know the magnitude of what it could do to you after or whatever. But I was just like, oh, what a fun thing to do. Yeah. And I think that's a total reasonable reaction. Now, when you came off the show, how did everyone in your life feel about watching it back?
So it's funny because, obviously you have like your group, but then you start finding out like the tangential groups. Like I was finding out about people in like the professional world that I didn't even really know, but they were a couple of degrees removed from me. And the word was spreading. Everybody in Denver, finance, for instance, was watching this, right?
And it was like the height of like that show too. Like,
oh, peak.
Yeah. Peak time.
Yeah. I have
minus
no
like
idea.
Trista Sutter when like nobody even could stream. And it was just like, she had like 30 million views. We had like,
is that real?
Yeah, we had like 11.
I was just going to ask, what were the rating? Like, I have never heard those things, but like, we had to have been the highest.
It was the highest, and then JoJo's was quite high after. It was like Andy's was good, mine, JoJo's, and then it started to slow down a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, peak. So, you're hearing about it through the grapevine. All of your friends are thinking it's hilarious.
Of course.
And you're getting, they're like, oh, dude, you're not a villain. So you're getting all the spin and all this kind of stuff. I have not watched. So
that's what she said. You haven't watched it back?
I've never seen the show. And like,
that's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? So I watched.
Did you watch an episode back before coming on here?
No. So I watched the first.
Wow.
3. So the first episode we did a viewing party, me and Ben.
Yeah.
So I saw it to some extent, right?
Yeah,
but like you're just in this crazy thing where everybody keeps coming up to you, and like I'm trying to like watch it. I'm like, holy crap, I'm on TV, and you're still battling the, my voice sounds weird, and you can't, you hate hearing what your voice sounds like.
Yeah.
I watched whatever the episode was, the comedy date, because it was
Amy Schumer was so all over you.
Oh,
in a bad way.
We got so hilarious. All right, so hold on. Yeah, that's so much. So yeah, we go. That was the episode because it was the shark thing. So I remember I watched. I think it was episode 3, and I was laughing my ass off at the Tony interaction. But then episode like after that, we had one more viewing party. Something came up. My parents, we were recording all of the episodes.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I'll get to them eventually in life, right? And my parents just inexplicably, like they just deleted they changed cable providers. Like, oh yeah, we got a new cable thing. I was like, wait, so all the episodes are gone?
Would you like my Amazon Prime password?
I mean, we have Amazon Prime, but yeah, so we've never, I've seen 3 episodes of myself on TV. And
oh my gosh, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah. And I never read my press clippings. So I never Googled myself. I have, much later. But in the moment, I never read my press clippings. I refused to read anything about myself because I remember before it aired, some Reddit thread, or there was something that got circulated with the guys' chat, and in it was like these people were just nitpicking like our bio pictures. Right?
Yeah.
And I just remember I was like, I have a choice here. I was like, I'm reading this and I'm not insecure yet.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing, but it was like, this could, like, I had the self realization to just know I need to just cut it off ASAP.
Smart.
Because I was like, this is going to make me super insecure.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel bad about myself when I don't need to. And so my dad, years later, he goes, hey, here you go. And he had a whole folder. So my dad,
No
of all
way.
things, kept all my press clippings, knew everything about what I was up to, all these articles being written about me, all the stuff. Like I had one, it was like front page of National Enquirer in the grocery store that says, Lane's a loser, says ex-wife. And like they had copies of my divorce papers.
Oh yeah, they had copies of my parents' divorce papers. My parents.
And it was funny is, so, I mean, I said this like 6 years later. I look, they weren't even the final copy. I'm like, how did you get a draft version of the filing? I'm like, it was just craziness, right? So, I mean.
That's good that you didn't look into it because I was like the most secure I'd ever been in my life at 30 going into that show. Not only did the show just destroy that, but then hearing people talk about me after the way that they did, I was like, I thought it was pretty great. Then I'm like reading, like somebody told me I needed a nose job. And I was like, do I? Oh God. And then like I fixed my teeth because of TV, like so many things that like just from like a Reddit thread. I don't read Reddit either, but people have sent me stuff. But my dad couldn't even go to the grocery store because he's like, my pure sweet daughter is on the cover of every magazine being like, she's pregnant. She slept with this many guys. Like, pregnancy shocker. She like always this nasty headlines, which still happen to this day because of a podcast. Like I still, there's the recent headline that is in Us Weekly right now about me is Kaitlyn says she hates when people ask or people that say, wait till you have kids because she birthed her dogs. I made a joke. I was like, yeah, I birthed Pino out of my butthole. And they like ran with that stupid of a headline to say that I'm like, think I birthed my dogs. And people are like, she's crazy. And I'm like, do you guys really think I birthed my dogs? I mean, it's crazy to still, you'd think after 10 years, you'd have thick skin about it. But really my skin has just got thinner over the years where I'm like, people still hate me.
I think it's natural, right? I mean, probably the only good thing that I did through all of this, right, was just not
feed into it.
Yeah, like frankly, I if I would have should have disabled comments on Instagram too, right? Because
they're ruthless.
You know, we get into that cycle too, especially when you're in that phase where like now I can post something and like if I get a comment, it's from like my wife, commenting, on my own photo, right? But like back in the day, right, you would just open up Instagram and it was just you would refresh and it was just constantly feeding you content and people's either validation of you or their criticisms of you. And that's, I mean, it's so hard to handle for anybody, right? But like then you get all of us, right, who are at different stages of where we're at in our lives and the challenges, right? And so then you start feeding in. It's like, I just need that next good comment. And, and I need to make this post here. And I hope people like this. And then you get to this, oh my gosh, why isn't this performing? Oh, it only got 100 likes in the first 5 minutes.
Aren't you so glad to be out of that?
Exactly. Like,
I mean, I'm in that and I have to check myself daily about why I'm posting, what I'm looking for, if I'm doing it for validation, if I'm just trying to like actually just be me. Like I have to think through every post of why I'm doing it. And who for? So
I have a book recommendation for you. And this is like, it's called The Courage to Be Disliked. It's been, for me, like, so when you asked me to come on this podcast, I try to run it through my Courage to Be Disliked filter. I'm like, why am I doing this? Right. And like, it's probably, we'll all get to some stage maybe where we're in this maturity stage where it's like, I don't even have to run it through the filter. I just know every action. I'm just doing it because it is like the genuine action. But I was like, am I doing this because I need something from it?
Right.
Do I want something from it? Like, why am I doing this decision? Right. And like, it really boils down to like, as simple as this, like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And to just have that, like, I don't give a if I post a picture and it gets 1 like, did I do it because I needed 100, right? Or 10,000, right? Or did I do it because I really wanted to do this because I was proud of my daughter and I just wanted to share this, right?
Yeah.
And for me, my why on this podcast was like, it would be fun.
Yeah.
And
that was
the only reason I did. I was like, this will just be a really good time.
Yeah.
And, we're lucky to be in the situation where somebody chooses to listen to what we have to say.
It's really cool. I really think it's so fun for people to, again, I'm repeating myself, but hear your side of it or hear your experience from it, because nobody really got to. And you aren't as active on social media as some people were after the show or still are, with like involving the audience into your life. So people are like, yeah, what the is JJ doing right now? Like, where is he at in life? But we can't not forget to circle back to Amy Schumer. What?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me.
Oh, so the night before, remember they give clues?
Yes.
And I think it was like, you need a man to stand up for you.
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, stand-up comedy.
You knew.
So everyone went to bed and I stayed downstairs and I wrote a stand-up comedy skit.
Yes.
Right? So like I was fully prepared in hopes that was what it was. So like I went into the thing and like I had dialed this thing in. And I felt very confident in the jokes. So then when she comes around, it was all intentional. Like, and I even in the moment, I knew this was all being set up. Basically like, hey, you guys are going on in 10 minutes. So like she's magically shows up, not even with enough time to coach me or give me any tips, right? But just to come and just chirp me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then she's like, well, what are some of your jokes? And I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of her in my whole life.
Yeah, she was like just starting to be like,
And frankly, I didn't think she was funny. I didn't like,
Really?
I wasn't, no, like I was not amused by her. So like, I'm just like, okay, like you come over here to shit on me.
Yeah, yeah. She really did.
For like 10 minutes, you just sit down and you just start shitting on me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to shit on you back,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so like, I'm just thinking, hey, we're both sparring and just chirping each other.
Yeah.
Right. And then she's like, well, what's your pickup line? And, I wasn't afraid to admit, I was like, oh, I'm divorced, dad, unemployed, live with my parents, and she's like, that's really it. I was like, yeah, is that not a good pickup line? Because like, of course I don't really think funny. It's, but I'm going to like banter with her.
Yeah.
But then like when we got up on stage, like, oh gosh, that was the most fun I had on the show.
So fun.
Oh, I had a blast, right? And it worked out well because Tony went before me.
Oh, you're golden.
I was like, dude, oh my gosh, this guy just terrified everybody.
Yeah.
And I get to start with a joke just mocking him. I was like, this is like warmed right up. So then it was so funny because she had a movie with LeBron James a year later, like a few months later, right? Well, she's on press tour and people are sending me stuff. She's still shitting on me in her press junket, like for the movie.
Wow, you really did something to her.
I know. And so then like I would tweet at her. So like then I started tweeting her. I was like, hey, Amy Schumer, one-on-one, we're going to do a stand-up battle, all proceeds to charity. Let's do it. And I would just keep doing this.
Yeah.
Never got a response.
Really?
And I was laughing because like I have zero to lose. Like I'm not a stand-up comedian.
Do you want to know the funniest part of this to me was I loved her. And then after we did that whole thing, we actually became like really good friends and we'd FaceTime. And then she'd be like, oh, when you're in New York, like come stay at my apartment. And then she just like totally ghosted me. And she was following Brit on social media and not me. And I was like, what? Because she kept like, she was chirping Brit on the side. It didn't air. And then we were like tight. And then I looked at who she followed and I was like, you gotta be shitting me. And so now we're not friends anymore. But I just thought it was so funny. And she was filming something in Hawaii when I was there like years later. And I sent her a text. I was like, you're at the same hotel as me. And she goes, who is this? I was like, oh, okay. I was like, it's Kaitlyn Bristowe, but never mind.
That's pain. You got big timed. What in the world?
I got big time.
Which is said by Amy Schumer. Look. You didn't get big time. I mean, she attempted it. Like, I'd much rather just be you right now than Amy Schumer.
I thought it was so funny though. But I remember, I can't remember if they aired this, but she was like, I just can't with JJ. She's like, I just want to like fist his. Did they show that? Or you don't remember? That's what she said. And I remember just dying laughing because I was like, can she say that?
She hated it because I didn't like, we walked in right when we walked in and like, and it's Amy Schumer and all the guys were like, whoa, awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like I literally looked at the guys like, are you guys for real? Like, who is this person? Right. And I had my hopes set on like, in my head, I was like, oh my gosh, Dave Chappelle. Or is like, so I was really amped up for something else. So I walked in and then I just got totally let down.
That's like the guys with the rap battle when I keep telling all the guys that were you on the rap battle? Yeah. Remember when it was like the legendary, like biggest rapper and everyone's like, holy shit, who's it going to be? And then we're like, Dougie Fresh.
Again. I don't know.
You didn't know rap music.
I've never listened to rap music in my entire life. I didn't know who they were. And I was like, oh gosh, here we go.
That was also, I just rewatched that one. The anxiety when like Nick shows up and I'm like, oh, this is the episode that changes like literally everything. So we have to talk about that. Nick showing up.
Yeah.
That happened at the beatbox rap battle, whatever the hell.
Did he show up at the rap battle? Oh, he showed up to say, yeah. So we're all having to freaking do rap and he just shows up and gets to just pull you aside and spend one-on-one time with you. And I was like laughing. I was like, man, I've literally at this stage, I think I'd spent 5 minutes alone with you. So, this guy just gets to avoid embarrassing himself and just gets to chat with you.
It's actually so frustrating for so many people because I'm like realistically, how much time do you think we spent together, the two of us?
Yeah, I did the math at one stage and it was probably under 2 hours because I remember I went home and I went on a date and I told the girl, I was like, she was like having some insecurity. I was like, you understand? Our first date, you and I right now at a dinner place and drinks have spent more time cumulatively than I did in 6 weeks with Kaitlyn.
Yeah. I'm still to this day, like looking back, I would do it again. I would bring him on again because we did have some like pretty deep conversations before I even was the Bachelorette. And I was always like so intrigued by him. And I was always like, oh, he's so different. He's so unique. Like there's something about him. And we like had this obvious chemistry that why would I not explore that if, people like Jonathan who voted for Britt still wanted to explore me. Like that's just, to me, I was like, okay, it sucks for sure. And I felt like I was disrespecting people, especially Sean, because I had made it so obvious that he was like my number one. And then for him to be like, was I not enough? She needs to bring someone else on. But I was like, it is only fair, and I have to look out for me to explore something that could potentially be what I want forever. But it was the most confusing and hardest thing. And looking back, I'm like, God, that sucked. But I would have done it again because I knew so sure at the end that I was like, Nick's not my person. But I would have thought about him if he didn't come on.
And how old were you at the time the show?
30.
Yeah. So you're 30 years old.
Yeah.
You're in
Maybe
this once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
It's a dating show, right?
Yeah.
To try and find the person, right? And they're incentivizing you in every possible way to find that person.
Right.
It's like 100% you're in the right. I told the guys like they would always force us into these like
manchats.
The man chats where we have to break down the Nick thing.
Yeah.
And I just I was like, guys, like why are we getting upset?
Yeah.
Like, if this is what she wants,
right,
and this is the purpose of the show, we have to capitulate and be fine with it.
I mean, I can't imagine because I put myself in your guys' shoes and I was like, if somebody did that when I was on the season, that would suck. Like bringing on one more person that you clearly have a connection with. It's like, are we really doing this? But at the same time, that's kind of what the show is for. And that was the purpose. But I thought it was funny how you guys all went off his edit on the last season. They're like, oh, like
I never watched it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was more Tanner. Tanner was like, he's this guy. He exposed him having sex with Andy and like, he's a loser. So everybody's just going off of like, oh, he's a loser. He's a loser.
Literally, Tanner was our narrator.
Yeah.
Like
Tanner would sit there the show.
And they go, okay, Tanner, tell us what we need to know about Nick. So then he'd turn, guys, you know about Nick, man, on this last, and like Tanner would just regurgitate, like give us this, Cliff Notes version of Nick or whatever we needed to know.
Yeah. And then I feel like that like validated all your guys' anger. Damn that guy. Yeah. Which was so funny. Cause now is anyone still friends with him to this day? I don't even know the answer to that.
The only one I can think would be, I only follow Jared and Tanner.
Oh yeah.
And so I see stuff on Jared's.
Yeah.
But
I feel
that's the only extent.
I mean, it's been 10 years. You can't keep friendships with everybody, but I think it's so funny because you roomed with Tanner, didn't you? At some point?
Yeah, I was Tanner and Cupcake were the two I roomed with.
Oh my God, Cupcake.
Josh Albers, real fast. You got to tell me the haircut was just unbelievable.
Oh my God, I love talking about this.
Okay. I need to know, like, I mean, it was intentional. Like, I'm going to butcher you, right?
It was not intentional. I swear, I think about this all the time. I felt so bad. So he was like, you're a barber, right? And in my head, I'm going, well, I'm not a barber, but I took cosmetology. I took haircutting school. I know how to cut, color, like perm, do whatever to hair. I did it for 3 years. So I was so confident to give him a good haircut. They gave me shitty clippers that were going to die. So when I went to go like do them, it was like, and it just like, I was like, oh my God, I did not mean to do that at all because I actually wanted to show off. I wanted to give him a good haircut and have the guys be like, she can do it all. And so when I butchered his haircut, I was like, oh, I feel really bad. And then not only that, I had to send him home like that rose ceremony with him having a bad haircut. But I truly, really wanted to give him a good one.
Oh, props to you. We thought, we're like, man, she just did him straight dirty. Like,
imagine? You thought I really did that?
At that stage, we don't know what we don't know. Like, we're just taking it. We're like, this is wild. But
that's true. Okay, Vinos, if you've been thinking about making some clean, non-toxic switches this summer, let me put you on to a little something that I've talked about a million times, but it's Dime Beauty. Dime was actually founded by a master esthetician, so you know that they know their stuff. They've got everything from skincare to body care to fragrance, and every product is made with clean, non-toxic ingredients that actually work. So right now, I think I told you guys this on other podcasts, but I am obsessed with the Wonder Screen SPF 30. It's clean, mineral sunscreen, 19% zinc oxide, so it protects your skin without all the hormone disrupting ingredients in traditional sunscreens, plus no white casts, not greasy, and they even have tinted glow options that double as makeup. God, I love a 2-in-1 moment. And their nourishing cleansing oil, you guys, it's like a little spa moment at the end of the day. Why do I love it so much? It melts off makeup, SPF, all the gunk, and it just leaves your skin feeling so fresh, so clean, and not stripped. I think that's what I really look for in a cleansing oil as well. I don't like it when it feels stripped. So they've got thousands of 5-star reviews for a reason. Do your skin a favor, revive your skin, and give yourself a clean routine refresh that you deserve. Go to dimebeautyco.com today. That's dimebeautyco.com. dimebeautyco.com. You have a teenager.
Yeah.
A teenage daughter.
Yeah.
Is she spicy?
No. She's like flawless.
Aww.
Yeah. She's I mean, unsolicited, she's stressing because she didn't get, like, she goes to a very, very nice private school, top of the line education, and she didn't get an A+ in one course in the first semester. And she was crying to me because it was going to ruin her A+ streak for all the way through graduation. And she's like, and then I'm not going to be able to get into the college I want. I'm like, where is this coming from?
Oh
like I go, I'm not pushing this. Like her mom isn't pushing this. Yeah. She just has this innate motivation. And
wow.
So she wants to go to Duke. And like, I mean, I'm just like, please.
Wow.
Yeah, be awesome. Like, I don't know where she got it from. So I was never.
That's amazing. I'm trying to think. I was probably just like picking my nose and skipping school at 13 and like not caring about my future at all.
No, it's crazy that she has this like perspective and it's not pushed. I mean, I tell her all the time, like, and I think her mom does as well. Like, we want her to be a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's not on social media. She doesn't have a phone. So we've kind of protected her from that. And to her mom's credit, like, we are completely kind of in line with parenting. So how
nice.
Which has made everything easier to just let go because it's like what's in her best interest.
Yeah. And I got to meet your wife.
Yeah.
At whose wedding was that one?
Jared and Ashley.
No. Yeah, it was.
In Rhode Island. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was Jared and
That was the last
wedding.
Bachelor thing I've done was that wedding.
Wow.
And now here.
And now they have 2 kids. That's wild. I do want to quickly touch on your redemption in Paradise. You were like the hero of Paradise. Was that like, I feel like the villains always get the redemption on Paradise. What was that experience like for you?
Well, it actually may be a little deeper story. So everything on Paradise, I guess Paradise happened first. When I walked down, like Ashley and her sister were like just coming after me, telling me they're going to throw my clothes in the ocean. It was just like really weird. Right. Oh. And so like, I'm like, oh gosh, like I'm not on friendly terms here. Like what's going on?
Yeah.
Within a day, maybe 2 days, I was kind of like the big brother to just all the, like, because this sounds awful. I wasn't attracted to any of the girls there. I was dating somebody and I was really on the fence about even going.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really trying to get myself in female trouble there.
Yeah.
It was another one of those like, hey, like one, they were going to pay me this time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I needed money. Like I had child support and alimony. So I was like, okay, I'll get paid.
Yeah.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, but I was not chasing any girls at Paradise. So like I was not involved in any drama.
Yeah.
I was the only guy there that just didn't care.
Yeah.
And producers kind of let me do my own thing. I was the only one that I would sleep in. I would go read a book and then I would boogie board for like 4 hours a day. It was crazy. And then I would come up around 3 and I would just drink and hang out. Right.
Yeah.
So like,
sounds great.
It was fantastic. It was a 14-day vacation in Mexico.
Totally.
And so I just became this de facto big brother to everyone there. And
because you ended up leaving on your own terms, right?
yeah. And so then, you know, when Joe Bailey and stuff kind of got sideways with Julia and stuff, they woke me up and like I had this crazy like sunburn and I had been sleeping and like they had actually like the medics had like given me stuff. And they're like, hey, man, you got to go talk to Joe. No one else will do it.
Yeah.
I always find myself in these spots. It's like, whatever. Okay. So I just did it for fun. And then, you know, we have this confrontation with Joe, which actually was genuine. Like it was actually real. I couldn't believe that he got so in my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, afterwards, my ankles were so swollen from drinking in the sun and my sunburn was killing me. And I was like, dude, like I am exhausted.
Yeah. I'm out of here.
And I was like, guys, like, I didn't even tell the producers. Like I
Really?
decided it was the rose ceremony and I decided, you know, I told them 5 minutes before the rose ceremony. It's like,
really?
hey, I'm self-eliminating.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you got to give your rose to someone else that could stay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Who
so,
was that? I can't remember.
We did that. So like that worked out. And I was like, so there was no drama, but then we had filmed that, but then we had this after the rose. Remember, like we had, what was that thing called where we did it where you were there? Is it after the final rose? Is that the show?
After or the Men Tell All.
Men Tell All.
Yeah.
Yeah, Men Tell All.
Yeah.
Right? So we had the Men Tell All, and I believe we'd already filmed Paradise.
Yes. So then you leave Paradise. How long until you meet your now wife?
I guess it was probably 3 years. Yeah. It was probably 3 years post-show that we met, and then we got married. You know, we got married on Leap Day about 2 weeks before COVID. So we got super lucky. We got the wedding done.
Yeah.
Honeymoon. And then it was like on the way home from the honeymoon, it was like world shutting down.
Holy crap.
So we were so lucky to just get it done.
Wow. And then did you have a COVID baby?
No. We got pregnant. I mean, we have a 2.5-year-old. So
2.5.
yeah, we got pregnant. Yeah. We actually moved to Viall. We're living in Viall and she's like, hey, we need to make this happen. It's like, I don't know. I just don't know if I need more kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we have Nell, who's 2.5.
Cute name.
And we've got one on the way.
How far along is your wife?
She is 20 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, girl. So I will have 3.
3 girls. JJ is a dad to 3 girls.
Yeah,
you would.
We know that I can't have boys. Like clearly at this stage, right?
Now, would you try for another boy? Do you
No.
hate when people ask that?
No, I told her, I was like, this is the last one. She's like, well, I want 3 kids. I'm like, I have 3 kids, one of which I've spent half my life basically funding. I was like,
congratulations.
So, yeah, I'm getting snipped. Yeah, I'm ready to lock in now. And
oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I'm so happy for you.
I appreciate it.
Oh my God. It's so cool to just, all the guys that are coming on, I get genuinely excited to talk to because I'm like, there's not one, unless Ian was coming to sit here, that'd be the only one where I'd be like, but he said no.
I mean, you just said the name. I forgot he existed. Right?
Isn't that crazy? Do you remember how awful he was to me?
No, I mean, the thing is like, I don't have a perspective because we only got bits and pieces, like just small anecdotes or like, you know, you hear, but like, I think you saw it probably more than to us, like he seemed nice. Yeah.
Well, he would sneak me notes all the time of like, I'm talking 3-page love letters and I would go home and read them and be like, hey, this is like deep. And like, he like is obsessed with me and I barely have talked to him.
Oh.
And so then when I was like not giving him that attention back, he lost it on me. And he's like, I think you're shallow. I think you're just here to make out with a bunch of dudes.
Gosh.
And like, I see you as surface level and I don't see you as the girl that I thought you were. And I was like, you just wanted to quit before you got fired. So he left. And I was like, bye.
When did he leave? Was that San Antonio too?
San Antonio, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like to wrap this up, I want to like maybe say something that people wouldn't know about Clint, like how good of a person he was, how close of a friend he was to you that didn't get to be shown on TV.
You know, the thing that stands out with me and Clint is he was just so talented in so many different things. So, you know, musically, he was incredibly talented. You know, artistically, we saw it briefly with the Chris Harrison on the
Oh my God,
Triceratops sketch.
yeah.
But you know, I think he just had so many talents, right? I
Yeah.
mean, he was a D1 wrestler. He was musically gifted. He was artistic. You know, he was witty, and so you know, from his perspective, like he was so well rounded, and he was, you know, he actually belonged on the show. When I say 30 most eligible bachelors, you know, he worked for an architecture company.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't like me and the rest of us who were just unemployed guys at at their lows, right? Who were hoping the show could, you know, raise their tide.
Yeah, he had so much going for him. This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? We're going to shift a little money over here, a little over there, hoping it all works out. Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, they're going to help you find options within your budget. So try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law, not available in all states.
The ultimate grown-up summer camp is officially coming to Destin, Florida, September 26th to 28th, and it's called Lady World. Headliners include Hannah Berner, comedian and star of Giggly Squad, Stassi Schroeder, Lady Gang, Girls Gotta Eat, Chicks in the Office, Justin Sylvester, Rachel Lindsay, Caitlin Bristowe, and so many more, plus music from The Maine and Pop 2K members of NSYNC, BB Mac, O-Town, Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray, Ryan Cabrera. It's just our dream lineup. 3 days of activities, 3 nights of shows, all for $300. Tickets are available now at ladyworld.co. That's Ladyworld, L-A-D-Y, world.co. But hurry up, because they are really going fast. Lady World, presented by Elf Cosmetics, takes over Destin this September.
What a show. I can't believe it's been a decade. I love seeing where people are at now. Congrats on everything. And thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I
And
appreciate
sharing
it.
your side of the damn story. You're not a villain. Even watching back, I'm like, he's not even, like, villains are way worse these days.
Top 10 villain. It always pops up in my thing. I'm like, man.
Well, I'm like top 10 sluttiest. No, I'm like top 2 sluttiest Bachelorette. So there's that.
Well, we're at least we're both on a list.
We made some sort of list.